It's Haruka time, and my name is Jacob Penrod. I'm a fantasy author, and we are here on YouTube, if you didn't know where we were, to break down Milgram. We're getting into the Haruka voice trial. We're also going to do Haruka's song, as well as whoever the next one is. Because I've heard that Milgram prisoners... actually, I don't really want to call them prisoners, because I feel like that presupposes guilt, and I don't want to bias myself. So subjects. I feel like Milgram subjects are split into twos, from what I heard. So we got our first two, and then we'll do our next two, and we'll just go through like that. So to start, let me tell you real fast about myself. My name is Jacob Penrod. I'm a fantasy author. I've got several books under my belt, with my debut one coming this year. It is called Seven Rangers, and it is an epic fantasy. But more pressing, I have a novella either already here on the channel or coming here on the channel, and I'll link to that up in the card if it's out. And if not, you could just go look for it. It's released for Mental Health Awareness Month. It's called Beautiful Wild Things, and it's just a sweet little story. Anyway, that's enough about me. It's Haruka time, but first, please rise for the Honorable Judge Gavin Bongles joining us again today. What you thinking about Haruka? You would say that about anyone. Okay, let's just get into it. I've also got my detective notebook here. I've printed it off, and this has all of my notes on all the characters. And if you want to see my updated notebook after this episode, it's going to be on Patreon for free. So go to the description, and it'll be there. Ominous footsteps. Okay, so immediately noting... notebook activate. Haruka is scared at approaching noises. I don't know how we knew that, because I thought this was from S's point of view, but if they weren't there, then I guess it's omniscient. Notebook close.
Sate, 尋問を始めよう。囚人番号1番、Haruka。
はい。ごめんなさい。
Okay, so he's really nervous. It could be a performance, but I mean the voice actor is just killing it. So I kind of think like immediately apologizing when we're coming close, and stuttering almost like he has some kind of communication issue.
何を謝ることがある?
You don't have anything to apologize for. No, I'm sorry.
いや、ごめんなさい。
He can barely carry on a conversation. He's so nervous. Milgram exists to reveal the sins of you, prisoners, and to hand down the appropriate judgment. So speaking of appropriate judgment, I took notes. We've got some judgment systems that we can go off of. There's retributive justice, which is where people kind of get what they deserve. You punish them in retribution for what they've done, which can feel good on a gut level, or it can, and it in theory makes some closure, but it can also feel kind of focused in the past and promote vengeance over growth, and it doesn't address the core cause of why something happened. There's also restorative justice, where you try to make amends for what happened and right the wrong that's been done, which doesn't feel adequate in the case of serial crimes or murders or things like that. But it is a mindset that people can have that's focused on fixing the pain that's been caused. And then there's consequentialist, which is stopping things from happening again, essentially. You assess it based off of how much of a risk they are. And that's broadly oversimplifying. I may have gotten it a little wrong, but I don't find retributive justice particularly convincing. I think I want that to be... I'd like to use a combination of all three. Starting with maybe restorative, seeing if what they've done, there's any way we can make it right. And then consequentialist, how likely are they to do this again? And then if there's something that's just on a gut level so wrong, it feels like something has to happen, I want to unpack that, but I also do want to honor it. I don't want to completely write that off. Anyway, so that's what comes to mind with appropriate judgment. Yes, I did research in between videos. All right, let's keep going.
ミルグラムはお前たち囚人の罪を明らかにし、適切な判断を下すために存在している。そのために。
For that reason, talk to me a bit. So Rabbit told us a little bit about this. He told us that if we talk to Haruka at first, he won't really open up. But if we get him to open his heart, then it'll come, something along those lines.
いくつか話をしよう。
は
何？尋問と言っても現代
What? Even if it's an interrogation, I don't plan on using violence, so rest assured. Okay, yeah. Sure, S. They're saying that, but, I don't know. I don't know. Because they've been kind of power trippy even more than me. And Gavin knows power tripping when he sees it.
段階では手荒な真似をするつもりはないから安心しろ。ちなみに。
By the way, I'll acknowledge both any falsehood or reticence, which translates to silence. The word in Japanese far higher than silence would be English. The implication is that Haruka is unfamiliar with advanced vocabulary. Okay, so Haruka isn't super well educated, maybe?
虚偽も黙秘も認めている。
虚偽
Falsehood? Reticence?
黙秘
言いたくないことは言わなくても構わないし。
Maybe this isn't just him, I don't know, maybe it's not just him being anxious. Maybe he's got some kind of learning impediment where he's behind developmentally. Anyway, then S says, you don't have to say anything, or you don't have to say anything you don't want to. And even if you tell lies, I don't mind. I mind.
嘘をつきたければついても構わない。
そうなんで
Is that so?
すか
ああ。
Yeah, since Milgram produces songs directly from your memories, I look at that and judge your sins. Okay. So that's why they don't care about lies.
ミルグラムはお前の記憶から直接歌を取り出すからだ。僕はそれを見てお前の罪を判断する。つまり
In short, whatever you try to claim isn't a big deal. Rather, if you remain silent, tell lies. That by itself shows what you feel guilty about. But guilt doesn't necessitate blame, S. Like, of course, they're going to feel guilty. Everyone in here has been involved in some capacity in someone's death. And guilt just, like, that doesn't mean that he did anything wrong.
お前がどんな主張をしようと大きな問題はない。むしろ黙秘をした嘘をついたということ自体がお前が自分の罪に対してどういう意識を持っているかを示すことになる。そもそも
If I want to base my judgment on whether or not you've reflected on your sins in the first place, that's up for me to decide. So, I mean, reflecting doesn't absolve you.
罪に対して反省しているかどうか、それを判決の基準にするかすら僕次第なのだがな。わかるの？
You understand, right?
わかりません。
He doesn't understand. What?
あ？ん？
何言ってるかわかりませんでした。難しくて。
So, either he's playing the fool, or is he developmentally challenged? Like, does he have some kind of disability of some sort? Or neurodivergence?
ごめんなさい。僕、頭があまり。
He says, sorry, I'm not that bright. Okay, notebook activate. Sorry, I'm not that bright. That's something that someone internalizes. Someone's been telling that to him. Either a parental figure, or at school, or more likely both. And my working theory is that there's some kind of neurodivergence at least going on here, if not something more severe. Notebook deactivate.
Haruka, お前年はいくつだ？
What age are you? 17 is what he told us, but he doesn't know.
17だったと思います。
思います。
いや。
She says, or they say, you think, and then he says, well, I have no interest in my age. I'm sorry. Why not? Like, is that a cultural thing, or is that a Haruka thing?
自分の年齢に興味なくてごめんなさい。
S says, I'm gonna go crazy. Don't say that to someone who's neurodivergent.
続けようか。
Shall we continue? How's life in Milgram?
ミルグラムでの生活はどうだ？
Alright, there we go. He's finally starting to open up, but still struggling. In the beginning, it didn't make any sense at all, and it was a bit scary, but everyone was nice, so it was okay. Yeah, you know who isn't going to be nice to you if you actually did something wrong, I think, is number 10. Don't remember her name, but I have a feeling she will F you up. Just a hunch.
最初はわけわからないし、ちょっと怖かったんですけど、みんないい人なんで大丈夫です。
みんなとは他の囚人連中。
By everybody, do you mean the other fellow inmates?
はい。
Yeah, they like Yuno, who's Yuno's prisoner number 2, and Mahiru, which I think is prisoner number 6. They treat me kindly.
ユノさんとか。
Okay, notebook activate. Relationship note: Yuno and Mahiru treat Haruka kindly. Let's go ahead and start a new page of the detective journal, where it's a relationship map. Notebook deactivate.
マヒルさんとか優しくしてくれます。
少し興味があるな。
My interest has peaked a bit. Haruka, how are the other prisoners in your eyes? Oh, that's a good question, S. They're getting at, like, how he sees the world.
はるかの目に他の囚人はどう映っている？
いや、僕なんかがみんなのことを喋るの。
Huh. He says, well, it's bad for someone like me to talk about everyone else. Someone like him. All right, open notebook. Notebook activate. Haruka has some deep internalized guilt going on, and doesn't seem to see himself on par with the others. I'm thinking about Yuno, who I believe is the one with the song called Umbilical, which makes me think she's a motherly figure. And he said they were nice to each other. So I think it's a little bit of an uncomfortable framing for me that I don't love. But I think that the story is presenting him as somewhat childlike in how he's manifesting. And my hunch is that's why he's being paired numerically with Yuno. Is it's like a child and mother dynamic, given her song title being Umbilical. And so she's got something to do with the child. He's got something to do with his mother. Was his mother talking bad about him? Like, is she the one who's put this self-doubt in his head?
悪いです。
安心しろ。
S says, rest assured, whatever is said in this room won't be leaked to other prisoners.
この部屋での話を他の囚人に漏らすことはない。
Okay.
はい。
He's so uncomfortable. And we're just... He's barely able to get through a conversation. And that doesn't mean that he's innocent. Like, he could still do monstrous things even if he feels bad or anxious or doesn't fully internalize it. So I don't want to let this cloud my judgment. Neither does Gavin.
そうだな。誰とよく話すんだ?
Who do you often speak with? The ones who often speak to me are Yuno and Mahiru and Mikoto. think Mikoto is number 9.
よく話しかけてくれるのはユノさんとマヒルさんとミコトさん。フータ君も少し。
Also, Futa, he's a little scary, but he pays attention to me. Okay, sometimes I speak to Mu as well. Alright, so he kind of talks to everyone. Futa's interesting because he's the one who presents so hard and rough, but he pays attention to Futa, or pays attention to Haruka. Relationship map update? I don't want to write all that out. Just do it in the editing room. All right, let's do it.
怖いけど構ってくれます。ムーさんともたまに話します。
Kazui and Shido. Okay.
カズイやシドは
They're adults, so it's a bit scary. Oh, notebook activate. Scared of adults or people who present as adults, like very mature. Does he have an issue with men, I wonder? Anyway, keep going. Notebook deactivate.
大人なんで少し怖
Oh, but he still defaults to assuming that they're kind.
いんですけど、二人とも優しい人だと思います。
コトコは
Kotoko, she's a bit scary. Yeah, she scares me too, and I also want her on my side rather than not being on my side.
ちょっと怖いです。
まあ予想通りだ。
That's expected. The only name that hasn't been left is Amane. Oh, this will be interesting because everyone else, I think, has been older than him, or at least very close. We've seen that he's scared of adults. I'm curious how he does with children.
あとは名前が出てないのはアマネか。
アマネちゃん。
どうした？
苦手なんです。
I'm not good with them. Children at that age. Amane is a good girl, but she brings back bad memories. Oh my gosh, you killed a child. Is that what that is? Notebook activate. Theory. Haruka killed a child. 70% confidence. Notebook deactivate. I mean, maybe it's just a general discomfort, but like, oops, I almost dropped Gavin. There's not a lot of space here for lines that aren't multi-purposed, so this has to be revealing something important to us. I think he killed a child. I think maybe a little girl.
あれくらいの子供。アマネちゃんはいい子なんですけど、嫌なことを思い出すんで。
大丈夫か？
Are you alright? You're looking pale, you know? Yeah, freaks him out.
ずいぶん顔色が悪いな。
そもそもあまり僕は
I shouldn't get too involved with people in the first place. Okay, yeah, so he sees himself as unworthy of connection. But that's dangerous. That's dangerous. If this was a violent act, having someone capable of violence who's isolating themselves, like, I feel bad for him, and also that's not a good recipe.
人と関わっちゃいけないんです。囚人のみんなとも勘違いしちゃっためな。
Even with all the prisoners, they might understand. It's no good.
なぜだ？好きにす
Why is that? Just do as you please.
ればいいじゃないか。僕は他者との
The bonds we share with other people are the very things that show our human nature. That's what I believe. Okay. Yeah, that's a little telling. S. Notebook activate. Theory. Each prisoner is reflecting something in S back at them. Or back at us, you might say. And that our nature is revealed by how we interact in the bonds we hold with them. Notebook deactivate.
関係の中でこそその人間の本質が見えると考えている。
カシさんにも言えることなんだ。
It's something I can't even tell you, prison guard. Well, I'll find out.
僕にも。
Even to
あま
me.
り僕に
You shouldn't get so close to me. Bringing misfortune to people is the only thing I'm naturally good at. I believe him. Like, I believe that this is how he feels.
近づかない方がいい。生まれつき人を不幸にすることは得意なんです。僕を知ろうとすればするほどきっとカシさんも不幸になる。
はるか。
だって
I missed a line. The more you know about me, I'm sure I'll only bring misfortune onto you as well, prison guard.
ろうとすればするほどきっと監視さんも不幸になる。
はるか。
だって
Haruka. Because, I'm sorry, just for talking by myself. Or for just talking by myself. Okay.
ごめんなさい。一人でずっと喋って。
続けろ。
Continue.
いつだってそうなんだ。
It'll happen sometime. It'll happen sometime. Even though I try to be normal, everything gets ruined. So does he have like dissociative states where that's when he hurt someone? But if he did, he wouldn't remember his issue with children.
僕がただ普通にしてるだけなのに全部ダメにしてしまう。監視さんだって。
Even though I try to be normal, everything will get ruined. You, everyone, if you knew me, if you knew everything that I did, I'm going to be abandoned. That's bound to happen. All right, fear of abandonment. This is reinforcing to me that he's got an issue with his mother, or maybe his father, or both. But my hunch, given that Yuno is latching on to him, I think thematically that's flagging to us that he's got relationship problems with his mother.
みんなだって僕のことを知ったら、僕のしたことを全て知ったら、僕を見捨てるに決まってる。僕は。
Because I'm a selfish killer. I mean, saying it makes me not want to believe you. Just because you feel bad about it, and just because you're not playing with the same hand of cards everyone else is, doesn't mean that you can be absolved of it. Going back to those justice models, if there's a chance of you doing it again.
身勝手な人殺しだから。
はるか。
はい。
顔を上げろ。
Are they gonna slap him? I was joking. We said that we wouldn't. We said we weren't gonna use violence.
痛い。
It hurts. What are you doing? Actually, I'm curious what he does under pressure like this. It's not an ethical way to interrogate, I don't think, but I am curious to see what comes of it.
何するんですか。
僕は看守だ。
I'm the prison guard. That just now is how I'll educate you prisoners. I'm allowed to do so. We're power tripping. We're power tripping. Milgram, more like Stanley.
囚人に対しての教
Or
育
Stanford. Damn it.
的指導だ。許される。
Grabs Haruka.
いいか。よく聞け囚人。
Oh, you can hear like the fabric clenching. She's like choking him almost. Or they're like choking him almost. Sorry if I'm slipping up with pronouns. I got S coded in my head as she, her, and I'm switching it over and still making progress in real time. But they, them is what they go by. All right, got that. Listen carefully, prisoner number one. I'll say it any number of times.
番号1番。なんだ。
And then look, they stopped calling him Haruka. They called him prisoner number one, which is why we are calling them, or we're calling him subject number one. Because, I mean, it's loaded language. We're seeing this go to S's head.
でも言おう。僕は看守だ。
I'm the prison guard. Understanding your true nature is my job. No matter what you are or whatever nasty work you've done, I'll see all of it. Look, what you are, it's more dehumanization.
お前の本性を知るのが僕の仕事だ。お前が何者だろうと、お前がどんな非道を働いていようと、すべて見届け、判断するのが僕の。
Making judgments is my job, and to say something like that, you'll be abandoned. No, I don't trust S. They're not a good person.
仕事だ。それを言うにこと書いて、見捨てるだと。あまり僕を舐めるなよ。
Don't take me so lightly. That's fear. Oh, I think he had an abusive parents. Until I know your sins and complete my judgment as to whether they're forgivable or unforgivable, you're objects for me to govern. More dehumanization. We saw that implanted by the rabbit from the very beginning.
お前の罪を知り、お前の罪を許すか許さないか判断し終えるまで、お前は僕の管理物だ。逃がしてもらえるなどと思うな。
Don't think I'll let you escape. Prison guard. Oh. What is he smirking for? I'm sorry, it must be creepy, right? Yes, it is. Does he have like a dissociative state he slips into to cope with trauma? Yeah, it does creep me out. Don't throw him. You gotta be wrong. This is a strange thing to say, but it made me a bit happy. Oh, it's not dissociative state. He's getting attention. And he's getting noticed. And I think that makes him happy, is if I'm right about potentially having an abusive family dynamic, maybe he's attention starved and feels like the only way for him to get attention is to do things that draw negative attention. Happy? Yeah. What an odd thing to say, even if I'm the one saying that. Being imprisoned, restrained, even interrogated like this. Or like this too. Isn't it natural to get angry in these kinds of situations? I mean, people respond to stress in different kinds of ways, S. We're really unqualified. Now that you mention it, you were always like that from the beginning. There's a gloominess about you. Calm down, S. Oh, I don't like S at all. But you're immune to the chaos of Milgram itself. The point is, reacting like Fuda or Mu would have made more sense. Yeah. Fuda got really angry. Scary. No, I mean, this is Milgram, isn't it? I don't really know what it's for, but having you, the prison guard, takes some interest in me, listening to the various things I say. Yeah, okay, notebook activate. Haruka is starved for attention, and will do whatever it takes to get it, potentially. Notebook deactivate. And for some reason that makes me happy and such. Okay, I think I'm seeing motive behind whatever he did, or at least a psychological underpinning. But that's not, just because you have an explanation doesn't mean that they're not going to do it again next time they feel like that. Even if that's your job, even if it's just to reveal the wrong things I've done. A strange one, aren't you? Maybe it's not neurodivergence or a learning impediment. Actually, maybe. I still think it is. I wish I knew the proper terms, but it could also just be trauma or abuse that's affecting how he communicates. But then he didn't know the vocabulary that he was expected to. So, I mean, it could be both. You're too good at lowering your gaze. You should have been at least the seventh person. The seventh person. I now clearly understand how difficult this job is. I'm sorry. It's fine. In comparison to to a rebellious prisoner, you're slightly more preferable. He's gonna like that. He's gonna like the positive attention. However, really jumpy too. Don't get the wrong idea, Haruka. Befriending you is not the reason why I listen to you talk.
なよ、はるか。僕はお前と仲良くしたくて話を聞いているわけではない。僕の目的は
My aim to the bitter end is to know what your sin is. See, S just isn't interested in seeing the person. They're so focused on retributive justice that they're going to miss the bigger picture. My aim to the bitter end is to know what your sin is, in order to know what you did, why you stopped killing, and so on. Okay, so
あ
he
くま
has
でお前
stopped.
の犯した罪を知ることだ。お前が何をしたのか、なぜ人殺しとなったかを知るためだ。
はい。
Okay,
まだニヤニヤしている。
you're still gritting.
ごめんなさい。
Oh, my heart breaks for him. A guy with no sense of tension. If I just deem you as unforgivable, I wonder what will betide you. Impossible to translate neatly into English. In exchange, impossible to translate neatly into English. Haruka misunderstood the contextual usage of of their verb within the construction S uses. The verb would mean to happen or occur, whereas Haruka comprehends it as to wake or get up, the more common usage. Of course, they aren't homonyms, even if it's the same word class, so that's a compromise used to make. Okay, so more communication issues.
緊張感のない男だ。僕がお前を許さないと判断するだけで、お前の身にどんなことが起きるか。
何か起きるんですか？
Tides.
さあな。
Who knows? You don't need to think about it deeply. I'm sure that goes for me too.
お前は考える必要はない。きっと僕にもな。そうだ。あと一つ言いたいことがある。
That's right. There's one more thing I want to say. Since you're a selfish killer, you shouldn't involve yourself with other people. Yeah. Okay.
お前は自分が身勝手な人殺しだから周りと関わってはいけないと言ったな。
That's what you yourself said, right? Yeah.
囚人どもは皆
All of those prisoners are killers. What is there to hold back? At least with that lot, you should behave as you like. I mean, this is more writing that's showing how S views the prisoners than it is a genuine argument, I think.
殺しだ。何を遠慮することがある。あいつらにくらい好きに振る舞えばいい。お前にも分かりやすく言おう。
Should I word it so that you can understand, or so that it would be easy for you to even understand? A lot of you are hopeless human beings. That's why you shouldn't worry. S, you are corrupt.
お前ら全員ダメ人間だ。だから気にするな。
So, Haruka says, I guess that's true. In traditional storytelling, we'd be seeing S in this place to signal that there's going to be some kind of change, probably really kicking off at the midpoint, and then from there we would see them probably become like either descend further into corruption or have a redemption arc. But with the non-traditional storytelling like this, I really don't know what it's going to do.
それもそうですね。
おしゃべりの時間は終わりのようだ。
Looks like the time for our talking has ended. It's nothing to be afraid of, but I'm just gonna have a peek at your memories. Okay, let's see.
恐れることはない。ただ、お前の記憶を覗かせてもらうだけだ。 囚人番号1番。
Prisoner number one, Haruka, come now and sing your sins.
さあ、お前の罪を歌え。
Alright, so we're gonna get into the song. Alright, I am so excited for this, but before we do, I am going to take a little bit of a break, and I'll be back. For you, it's gonna be just like that. Alright, that was a nice little 36-hour break. Oh, kids, man, I'll tell you. Anyway, let's just keep on going with it. We got Haruka's song, and I'm still not sure what to make of him. So first frame, we got him sitting in a nice-ish house. There's nature outside and books on the table, And he's sitting in front of a vanity with like lotion on there and some kind of aloe plant or something, looking into a mirror. We are going to be analyzing the shit out of this. Okay, there we go. Okay, so immediately, this is going to require us to go back. I will listen to the song live in my own time, like at speed, but I want to be transformative and I want to like respect the creation by not letting this be a substitute for listening to it yourself. So that's the reason that I pause so much, in addition to wanting to really break everything down. Okay. So we saw him turning into a child. Whatever he's going through now, look at the contrast between him as a child and him as an adult or an older teenager. He was happier. He was like, he held himself better. So something around that age really started to go wrong for him. And he feels like he's drowning. Tell me, why are you drifting away from me? Okay, and these are like their absolute inner thoughts. So if they're lying to themselves too, I think. Tell me, why do you say it's my fault? That's on screen while we have him, and I think that's his mother and Cran. So even as a child, we have this strained relationship between him and his mom. And oh, guilty, Gavin. Oh, the mother. Gavin does not like the mother. The word I tried to say was "you're unfair." Okay, and we got a dog here. So I guess they had a family pet. So the word I tried to say is "you're unfair." We know that he has issues with communication. And those words thought how pitiful I am. So look, as a child, he's seeing like this imaginative city. There's some kind of kaiju in the background, maybe Godzilla. And we see in the background like this red sky and a moon. And that was the background when he was a child in the opening scene as well. So lots of stars. We see the kaiju in a city. So just this blue lighting as well, creating the sense of wonder. But the red moon makes me think kind of foreboding. And then his mother, I presume, her face is blacked out. Like he can't even make himself think of her. Oh, I don't trust her at all. He went through some stuff. And those words thought how pitiful I am. And again, he's internalized this narrative of him being pitiful and unlovable. Okay. Yeah, more like he's literally looking up to her as he's asking himself, why is it breaking? But as he's looking up to her, he's not seeing her. He's seeing a mask. Did he kill his mother? Not a mask, but he's seeing like this distortion. And that could represent a lot of different things, so I don't want to jump to any one interpretation yet. Please, or tell me why. Please don't change. Oh, and then he's holding himself back. As an adult or as a teenager, he's holding himself back from going after his mother, saying like it's not worth what that's going to do to you, maybe. If I tried and couldn't say it. Oh, and he's pushing his younger self. So like he's rejecting that version of him that looked up to his mother. If I could only do what anyone else could do. And then we got this person in the back. It could be a romantic interest or a sister or a cousin or something like that. Or just a friend. But that's while he was healthier, before whatever happened. I see an S or maybe a 5 in the right side of the screen, but I don't know what to make of it. And he's looking at these abstract explosions, still seeing wonder in the world alongside this person. I'm trying to take in any details, but I'm not getting much. The right future unfairly chose the wrong me. Oh, what does that mean? So, if I could only do what anyone else would do, the right future unfairly chose the wrong me. What do you think, Gavin? Nothing from Gavin. So, the right future chose the wrong me. Basically, things could have gone better had I just been different, but because I'm not different, like, I think this is more internalized blame. Yeah. And we see older Haruka looking at this child, like this childhood relationship, with horror or sadness or maybe envy, some kind of strong emotion while he's upside down and drowning. Like that's what's holding him on. So maybe that's the right future that he wasn't able to get. Is it should have been him happy looking at a wonderful life with this person that he cares about. And then what are these flash frames here? Okay. Oh no! But as he's looking at this person, her face is obscured. Just like his mother's was. Is this a young version of his mom? And he's trying to see the humanity in her? Or is this literally another person? I wanted to be pitied and loved weakling. Or I wanted to be a pitied and loved weakling. I cried, I screamed. I wanted to be a pitied and loved weakling. So this is making me think neurodivergence as well. Like he cried and screamed. That could just be grief, but it could also be overstimulation and being more prone to crying or screaming or panic and wanting to be loved for how he was rather than asked to be something else. Yeah. I was in denial. Denial of what? I just had to make sure. And look, yeah, he's looking in at this future. My working theory is that person is his mother, just younger. I want to go back real fast and see, is that what she was wearing? No, she was wearing blue. Okay, I guess she wouldn't be wearing the same thing as a child. And her hair color is different. Okay, that's not the mother. He's reaching for her, so he desperately wants to connect. I just have to make sure. So, laughing and saying, "Someone please notice me." What did he say? Let me check my notes. During the voice trailer, he said, "Then what should I have done instead? Tell me so even I can understand." And his song is called Weakness. He fears hurting people if they get too close, and he's reaching out for closeness to this girl. So I think he let himself get close to this girl, and then out of a desire for attention, because he didn't know what else to do, I think he hurt her. Oh, is he like drowning her or strangling her? And look at the background. It changed from abstract wonder to muted blues. Oh, yeah. So he wasn't beating. That was like strangulation if we're taking this literally. But was it a dream? And I'm really curious about the significance of his necklace. And we see this bunny next to him. That bunny we saw in the last video. It was just on screen for a second, and he was all silhouetted. So you know that was him. And he was like playing with blocks and stuff. So I really think developmentally he's not where he should be. Or not where he should be is kind of loaded, but not where it would be typical of someone with his age. Oh, and now all the wonder is drowning with him. So whatever he did, this desire to be seen, it kind of killed this wonder within him as well. And now that girl is with his mother. I think he killed both of them. I mean, I think that's the girl. Maybe it's him, actually, and I'm overreading it. I am prone to overread sometimes the curtains are just blue and there's not a reason. But with something like this, more often than not, I do think that there's layers in just about everything. And then we got this figure to the bottom left that's like monstrous. Is that a father figure, maybe? All right, so his mother is next to him, and he has a dog now. There's a tree drawn in the background, kind of childlike. The moon is still red in the background, but there's like this leaf growing in front of it. Okay. It's fine. Why would she get him a dog? It could be he really does need help developmentally, and like that's something that can be grounding for him. Or it could be she doesn't give him enough attention and she's wanting it to be like a substitute. So we'll see. Oh, as he said, it's all my fault, right? Look at this. The tree starts to melt. So his childlike wonder starts to go away. It's enough. I'm a disappointment. So we're seeing like a structure in the song, a progression from childlike hopefulness to whatever's going to happen here. It's a dog, but it has cat ears, or I guess those don't have to be cat ears, but it's like an amalgamation of multiple types of dogs. Did she get him multiple pets over the years? I'm always repeating yesterday. Okay. And yeah, we're seeing this child world start to melt away. The dog ran away. That's going to trigger his fear of abandonment, of people needing to stay away from him. The lyrics are, it's fine, though it's really not. It's really fine, though I don't really think so. So like trying to assure himself everything's going to be okay. When I tried to understand it, you'll make that disappointed face again. So again, it's like this child who isn't where he should be developmentally. I hate saying should be. Isn't where would be typical developmentally. And I think his mother has been taking it out on him because of that. He's worried of disappointing her. You praised me by saying you're crazy. Oh, which is such a loaded thing to say to someone. And that's interesting because that phrasing was mirrored by S. They called Haruka crazy. So the dog ran away and he tracked it. He says, how many more times do I have to do this so I can be human? Do what? So how many times does he have to obey? How many times does he have to listen to where he can just be valid as a person, how he is developmentally, I think. Oh, and then he kind of zoned out or lost the memory, and he has these things on his hands where either I think he's killed this dog or he's starting to not recognize himself, lose his own humanity. Oh, that's not strangling. He is killing this dog with a rock. While he's saying, I've become a victim, which, yes, he is a victim of... It's hard for me to say abuse yet with the information that we have, but of a system, at the very least, that isn't supporting him in the way that he needs. And regardless of his mother's actions or her intents, because she could be trying to give him the support he needs with the dogs and things like that, he's experiencing neglect, regardless of whether or not neglect is being performed. That's his internal landscape. And so, of course, he feels like a victim. That makes a lot of sense. But he's also talking about being a victim as I think he's killing a dog. And to me, that's showing, even if he's not fully where he is, or not fully where he'd be expected to be developmentally, the phrasing, I've become a victim, as he's performing this act, shows internal justification, knowing that what he did was wrong. My loneliness was desired. Yeah, so he thinks people wanted to abandon him. I was falling down. Okay. And it takes more, or it doesn't take so many hits from a massive rock like this to kill a dog, I would think. Like, he is really going at it. So this isn't about ending a life. This is about control and acting out to be noticed, maybe. When he's felt so out of control his whole life, and I'm not condoning this. This is pretty monstrous. But even people who do horrible things are still people. And this isn't about one single act. This is about what that act means, which is reclaiming some kind of control. Oh, and look, now there's nothing but that distortion where this dog used to be. And that's the same distortion we saw in his mother's face, where I don't know what it represents. It could represent what he sees. Maybe a lack of personhood, where he doesn't fully see people as people. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't experience emotions, but that he can't fully internalize it. And he says, my life started in a wrong spot. Now, he is laughing after he does this. That, I don't think, is an indication of guilt. After traumatic things, from what I understand, and I'm not an expert, it's not uncommon for laughter to be a way that people process and cope with it. Because you have to break one direction or another. So the laughter looks really bad, and it's not necessarily... I feel like there was this case in real life of the lady whose baby was taken by a dingo, which has become such a meme that I almost smile saying it, even though it's awful. And she didn't react with grief in the way that people thought that she should. And there were a lot of really awful ramifications because of that, because people think grief looks one way. I don't necessarily know that the show is going that deep. Maybe it is. But I'm not initially turned off by the laughter as an indicator of him being irredeemable. Oh, and then the whole world became that distortion for him. And he's saying, I was wrong. Oh, and by doing this, he got it off of his own hands. So I think it is maybe like a lack of humanity kind of thing. I don't know, though. And then the world is back. It's like this mix of the distortion and the creativity. Oh. And his eyes through it all. Okay, I'm really curious after all of this how he sees his mother. So even if I keep trying it, it's broken right away. So no matter what he does, it's never good enough. And his mother faded away. Either she left him after what he did, or he killed her. I'm not sure which. The things that aren't here and the unneeded things is still living somewhere. Or is it still living somewhere? So the things that aren't here, is it still living somewhere? I don't know that he's talking about his mom. I think he might be talking about his own humanity. I cried and I screamed. I wanted to be a pitied and loved weakling. And then look, we see as he's saying that, and as he was in denial, the situation with his mother. I just had to make sure. And he's strangling this child version of himself. That's flashing back to what we saw earlier, where he was like over someone who I presume was that younger girl. I don't know if that was literal or not. I think it was. And we're seeing this is recreation of that behavior, and trauma reenactment is a real thing. And I'd imagine even when you're the perpetuator, that's traumatic to some extent. But wow. I was falling down. My life started in a wrong spot. So look, he's making excuses too. Ugh. He has something in him has to kill that child self of him. to kill that inner child where he was still attached to his mother, where he still saw wonder in the world. Because I think seeing wonder in a world that rejects you is inherently super painful. And then we have the body on the floor that looks like his child self, which obviously he didn't kill his child self. But if he was projecting his child self onto someone else, I mean, who else but his mother? And again, that brings light onto him. It makes him feel alive. Okay, Haruka, let's talk. So I think it would be easy to look at this and say, this was a person who was abused and someone who feels bad about what they did and to forgive. And also, I don't necessarily see it being that clear cut. He experienced, regardless of whether or not his mother was abusive, he experienced neglect. And regardless of whether or not that was reality, that's how he felt it. And that counts. Like that, there's no line of it has to be this bad in order to count as traumatic. And so while I didn't get a clear read on what his mother was doing, it's clear he didn't ever feel loved by her. I also see some red flags where it's not super clear that he's actually seeing the humanity in other people. When he first spoke to us, he told us to get back and keep our distance, but he could be lying. We're told everyone's lying in some ways, and it could even be lying to himself because people have ways to process and mask. I think we're seeing he didn't just kill once. He killed a dog at the very least, and then potentially this younger girl, and then potentially his mother. And then maybe a fourth if his younger self represents someone else. So I think he's a repeat offender. And going to those models of justice, like in terms of retribution, my heart hurts for him because he's a character who can't trust his own reality, and he's always felt like he's not enough. He's felt a lack of control. He's felt a lack of love. He's felt a lack of worthiness, and that hurts. And he was doing something and acting out in the only way that he knew how to try and take care of this. And then the potential neurodivergence or developmental delays really adds a layer of complexity to this, which is why I think we have to look at the, what's it called? Consequentialist method, where how likely is he to do this again? And we could say he feels bad, and yeah, people feel bad when they do bad things, but also, like, next time he feels neglected or unloved, what's to stop this from happening again? Especially if he has this pattern of dehumanizing people, and if that's what gives him control and makes him feel alive. I don't necessarily trust I don't trust that he feels sorry for his victims. I think he feels sorry for the life that he didn't get to have. I don't trust that he won't do it again if put in a similar situation. And I don't think that there's any way to make restitution to the victims. Especially killing animals is a big red flag to me. Like, obviously that's not as bad as killing a human, but it's showing this repeated pattern. Oh, I thought I was going to forgive everyone. And none of this negates the fact that he went through some serious shit. None of this negates the fact that he had an awful, awful childhood. We're just talking about the likelihood of this happening again. Is he showing genuine remorse? Is he changed, or is this something that needs to be handled? The thing is, I don't trust Jackalope and S to handle it. They're not the people for this. He needs, like, a support team. He needs wraparound care. He needs... All right. I don't think we're getting more on Haruka for this trial. Gavin, what do you think? I agree. Don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Haruka, for round 1, we're gaveling on the lightning thief. Unforgiven. No, don't be so happy about it. Oh! God, I feel awful. Ugh. Oh, my heart hurts for this character, and like, I'm not qualified to pass judgment on this because of like the developmental angle. Like, that's a real factor that I'm not equipped to handle, but I still want to engage with this as art, and just going off of what I am handed, that's where I'm leaning. And it doesn't mean it won't be that way in round 2, and it doesn't mean he didn't go through some serious stuff, but gonna be honest, I thought I could do 2 in 1. I need an emotional break. That's a lot. So I'll see you all next week with Yuno. Check Patreon if you want to see that early, and if you're on Patreon, thank you so much. And let me know what you would think. Try not to spoil it for me if you can, but do you agree with my assessment? Why or why not? And keep things confined to this video itself. So like, don't go spoiling my heart. I couldn't if I tried.